Well, the wildfires have caused widespread telecommunications outages in Yukon and parts of the Northwest Territories, complicating rescue efforts. So for more on this, we are joined now with Mike Westwick. He is a fire information officer in the Northwest Territories. Mike, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Here we go again. I know we spoke with you a lot last summer. Let's get up to date. What is the situation in the area right now?
Yeah, so certainly our biggest fire of note right now is FS002. That's about 19 kilometers southwest of Fort Liard, which is just north of Fort Nelson, which is impacted by evacuation orders right now. It's currently under evacuation notice after an active wildfire in the area grew significantly under heavy winds yesterday and crossed the Liard River. It didn't make it too far past the river yesterday, which is really good news. It's still a serious situation that needs to be managed. There hasn't been any upgrades made to that status. Evacuation notice means to have an elevated awareness of a potential risk in your area and to consider getting your things ready. So there's no immediate threat to the community, but our team's working hard every single moment to prepare the community and to battle that wildfire. We're looking at some different strategies and tactics moving forward now that wind event has passed, and we're assessing that right now.
Because wind, of course, is only so much you can predict. So how does the wind sort of factor into how this fire is growing and what you're watching for?
Well, wind certainly is one of the biggest things that drives wildfire growth. And yesterday we really got a serious dose of it in the Northwest Territories and certainly across Northern Canada. We saw winds coming from the west to southwest, gusting up to 85 kilometers per hour in that area. And that really challenged our containment work that we'd done on that fire. It did, surpass the containment that we had established there. But what I'd say is that it was really good that we got in there, established that degree of containment, because it did hold it for some time yesterday and probably reduced the growth of that fire across the Liard River, and therefore, helped set a bit of a different equation than it could have been had that good work not gotten done ahead of time.
And Mike, we know many people in the area don't have internet or phone services due to the wildfire. So how has this impacted rescue efforts?
There's not rescue efforts per se in the Northwest Territories right now. I want to be clear about that. There's no communities evacuating or evacuated. Certainly, it's complicating as it would operational work from our end, as well as obviously communicating effectively with communities impacted so they know what's going on. Some of the things that we've done with that, we have backup systems that are up and running for emergency responders through measures like Starlink and just your standard radio communications. And as far as reaching the community there's a really strong community radio presence there. And we've been making sure that we're in touch with their office in Alberta and making sure that they're getting emergency notifications and updates on wildfires and the like straight to the folks there. And of course, yourself at CBC also broadcast terrestrially. So really important that we work closely with broadcasters right now as internet's down.
So, Mike, how can people access emergency services?
So people are able to access emergency services with several different contingency lines that communities have set up across the territory. We would encourage them to listen to local broadcasts to get those numbers. There's several different ones that have been stood up depending on the community and depending their level of impact. Also, the folks have been directed to attend RCMP or health stations in person if they possibly can, if they can't access emergency services there. And of course, folks on the ground within community governments are playing a really important role in getting that word out directly to folks there.
And Mike, is there any idea when the services could be restored?
I can't speak on behalf of Northwest Tel, but we have been in contact with them, and they are doing their absolute best to access areas that where this damage has occurred. Obviously, we have heavy active wildfires, which can compromise that ability, but Northwest Tel have been real professionals in terms of getting into these impacted areas as soon as possible and restoring communication to the territory. They had, unfortunately, a lot of experience with it last year, so we'll continue to work hand in hand with our partners at Northwest Tel as they work to get us back up and running in terms of full services.
So, Mike, before we let you go, I'm wondering, we spoke with you, as I said at the top of this interview, earlier last year, when all this happened. Mm-hmm. It seems, at least appears, that there seems to be an early start or an earlier start this year to the fire season. Is that true? And if so, why?
I would say that the conditions certainly are more extreme, particularly in the south of the territory, earlier than we would expect. With the added variable to this is the overwinter fires, some of which went undetected until that large wind event went yesterday, despite best efforts through patrol and scanning and the like. None of these solutions are perfect, so that's added an additional complication. One of those overwinter fires is between the Enterprise Junction and Fort Liard Junction on Highway 1. While it's pretty far away from communities at this time, 70 kilometers away from Jean Marie River at its closest, mm-hmm. That one really exploded into a fire that's now thousands of hectares, really from nothing, it is the one that's likely compromised the fiber line there. I would say that this is the exact same weekend that we had our first significant incident last year. So there's some similarities here for sure. But that drought is what's driving it, that continuing drought that we're experiencing, particularly in the south of the Northwest Territories. And, that has the potential, without some assistance from weather throughout the summer, to make for challenging firefighting conditions for sure.